Hi everyone, this video is going to help you get the BI software installed for those of you running Windows 8. There's another video for those running Windows 7 which can also be found on your Learning Suite schedule. So to begin, we need to click on a link to get us to DreamSpark. Now many of you already got an email at the beginning of the semester. If you know where that email is, you can simply click on the link found in that email. If you don't have it anymore, your instructor has likely posted another link to it somewhere, maybe on your announcements or perhaps under content. For my class it's under announcements, and it's a big long link, which is why you'll want to be given the link to it. So it's back at the beginning of my semester. Here it is, DreamSpark link. As you can see, a pretty big ugly link. So if you don't know how to, if you don't have this link, I'll go ahead and open it. You can go to let's see here, dreamspark.byu.edu, and it'll take you to this site right here, and here's the link to get to the DreamSpark site. Same place. So it's going to ask you to sign in, and this one takes me directly to the sign in page. Now if you've already downloaded Access this semester through the DreamSpark site, this is your same username and password that you already set up. If you haven't, then this is likely your first time setting this up. You're going to enter, you might want to follow the forgot your username or password link and use your Learning Suite email address to go through the password recovery process. So I know mine, it's keith@gmail.com. Enter my password, log in, and here we are. Okay, I'm going to click on DreamSpark to take me to this main view. This is the featured software, but click over here on each of these categories. What we want is servers. Now you'll notice there is, so the first thing we download is Microsoft SQL Server, which is right here. Now there is a 2014 version, however it's not, this is a pre-release version, and so it's not fully stable yet, and we're not going to worry about using that one quite yet. Plus the tools that we're going to use are developed for 2012. So we're going to stick with 2012 for now. Now I've already downloaded SQL Server 2. However, so I'm not going to re-download it. So most of you will actually need to begin downloading it. There's multiple versions that will all work. There's some that won't work as well, but let me show you which ones you can use. Now, if you are going to become an accounting or information systems or even a marketing major, there's a good chance you'll use SQL Server after this class, and so you'll probably want to get the enterprise version right here. Okay, if you're not one of those and you just want to use it for this class and be done with it, the Business Intelligence version with Service Pack 1 right here is the one you'll want, and this will be a smaller installation. So it's your call, both are totally fine. I'm going to go ahead and download the Enterprise version though. Let me see, Core, no, let's see, Enterprise with Service Pack 1 actually is the one that I think I want here. Yep, that one right here. Okay, so come here, click Checkout. Here's my EULA End User License Agreement. Let's click I accept. Here's my order. Yes, proceed with the order. Alright, here we go, and start download. So if this is your first time downloading through the DreamSpark program, you're going to need to download the Secure Download Manager first and install this file, and this is just a downloader. It's not a big thing. Once you've installed that, then you can click on this Download SDX. So since I've already installed SDM, I'm going to click on this file. You'll see something like this pop up. Go ahead and click on it when it's ready. Let me resize it so you can see it here. Okay, here's my software. Now I know that my operating system is 64-bit. Therefore I'm going to download this version. If you're not sure what you have, let me show you how to find out. So I'm going to move my screen down here. Okay. Actually, you know, I don't even need to do that. Let me leave this up here where it was. What I want you to do to find out is open up Windows Explorer. Oops, cancel. Okay, and once you have Windows Explorer open, I want you to right click on this PC and go to Properties, and this little window will pop up right here, and it tells me that my system type is a 64-bit operating system. So if you have 64-bit, you want to use it because it'll be slightly faster. You can install 32-bit software on a 64-bit system, so this means that we could actually use whoops, let me open this file back up. We could use either one of these, but since I do have 64-bit, I'm going to go ahead and start this download. So it's a big file, 3 gigabytes. So I'm going to pause the video now, and I'll wait for this to download, and then go ahead and you pause it too, and we'll pick back up when it's done. Okay, mine's done downloading. Again, pause this if you're not done. But now it's time to go ahead and launch. So click Launch, and this will open up a Windows Explorer view of your Downloads folder. And here we have SQL Server 2012 Enterprise Edition with Service Pack 1. I'm going to open that up. This gives us what's called a .iso file, which is a file that if you're in Windows 7 or Mac OS, it's going to want to burn this file to a disk when you double click it, and then that disk is your installation disk. However, Windows 8 has some software built in that creates a virtual DVD drive, which allows us to simply double click on this file, and then it opens up what we would see if we were to burn it to a disk and then install the disk. So here we are. We want to run this setup.exe. Now don't be confused. On yours you may not be showing file extensions. So what that means is if I were to click on View and uncheck File Name Extensions right here, then this is what you would be seeing, setup and setup.exe. But the true file name is setup.exe.config. And we don't want this file. We want this one with the little green arrow icon on it. I like to show my file name extensions at all times, so I'm going to click that again and click on setup.exe, and then it's going to bring up that security pop-up message. So we click yes, allow Microsoft to run, and then it's going to take a minute for this to pull up. So I'm going to pause the video. Okay, so don't be worried. It takes a little while for this window to pop up, and it always comes up behind all of the active screens, as you can see it back here. So people often miss it. Anyway, we want to move from planning to installation. So I'm going to click Installation, and now we want to install a new SQL Server standalone installation or add features to existing. So I'm going to click that, and again pause the video while I wait for the next window to pull up. Okay, here we go. SQL Server, it's running a check to make sure that we can install this. So you should have a passed message on all of these things. If you don't, you might need to install or run Windows updates. That's usually the first thing people need to do. If you get a fail message on any of these, cancel out of this and run your Windows updates, and then come back in and begin this process again. But I have a pass status on everything, so I'm going to hit OK, and then wait for a moment while this pulls up the next window. Alright, product key should already be in there. You should have your own product key. So I'm just going to go ahead and click Next. I accept the terms. I don't want to send usage data to Microsoft, although you can if you want to. I'm going to click Next, and then Next again. This says we found a few updates. You might have a different view here. That's okay. You want to run any updates that show up, so just click Next. So now I'm going to pause and let this finish downloading and installing setup files, and you do the same. Pause the video and let it finish running. Okay, that's all done. Now you'll probably get something like this. Windows Firewall has a warning. Warnings are no problem. There shouldn't be any issues here as long as you don't have any other issues. Again, if you do, you probably just need to run Windows Update to fix them. But as long as you don't have any other issues, go ahead and click Next. You want a SQL Server feature installation, correct? Hit Next. Now, here's a place where you can make this setup a lot smaller if you want to. The only things you have to have for this to work, I believe, is just analysis services, although I haven't tried that. Typically, because I'm an IS person, if you're in accounting, marketing, or IS, actually all of you should go ahead and, just in case, check database engine services as well, But if you're any of those other majors I just mentioned, you may want to go ahead and get a few extra things. I'm going to pick these up, although you don't have to. I think I'm going to pass on reporting services for now. That's not something I need, and that takes up a lot of extra space. So again, I think you can probably live with just analysis services, but I'm going to get each of those. Alright, hit next. Alright, wait for it to think. Checks a few more things to make sure that we can install those components. Yep, we hit next. Default instance is what we want. Now if you already have SQL Server installed, you can't create a new default instance. You'll have to make a named instance, which actually works just fine with the BI software we're going to run. However, it's probably the first time for most of you, so just leave it as the default instance. And click next. Only wait around for it to think. There we go. Alright. So it needs 2 gigs to install, which is really not that bad. Actually, or is it 462? It may be less. No, sorry, no. Overall, it's 2 gigs. I forgot. Yeah, it's got this piece too, which really isn't bad. It used to be a 7 gig installation that we had to install, but anyway, let's hit next. Okay, at this point, we're just going to hit next. Now, depending on which features you went to install, some of your options over here on the left might be a bit different. Don't stress out, don't freak out or worry, just click next on the ones that are different from mine. Or if you don't have one of mine, don't worry about it. At this point, we do need to do something different. We need to add current user right here. So click that, and you need to be logged in as an administrator currently on your account, which you probably are. So wait for it to pull this up. Now, if you are going to be an IS major, you may also want to go here to File Stream and enable File Stream and enable File Stream for File I/O access. You know, actually, if you're marketing as well, not accounting, but if you're marketing, you may also want to check these. I can think of some instances where you may want to use this in the future. Now we're going to hit next. Once again, now we're on the analysis services configuration. Once again, we want to add current user. It pulls it up right here. Nope, we don't need to do anything there. Hit next. Error reporting, we're just going to hit next. Show details, everything passes. We're all good. Hit next. Here's our summary of what's going to be installed. Okay, now we're at this point. Let's go ahead and hit install. Now I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and pick back up when it's complete. Okay, everything's installed now. Looks like everything went well. I'm going to hit close on this. And then back here on my SQL Server Installation Center, I'm going to close this one as well. Alright. Looks like I need to finish the process. Okay, next we need to connect SQL Server to Microsoft Excel, and there's a plugin for that. So I'm going to pull my browser back over here. Oops, fit it in the screen properly. Okay, whoops. One more time. What I want you to do now, we're going to search for the SQL Server 2012 Analysis Services Data Mining Add-in for Excel. Okay, so I'm just searching on Google for this add-in. Alright, here we go. It's a little messed up, but download Microsoft SQL Server 2012 add-ins. And click on this. Alright, Microsoft SQL Server 2012 data mining add-ins for Microsoft Office. That's exactly what I want. Here's the URL if you had trouble finding it. Just go ahead and copy that in. I'm going to click download. And now this is different. Okay, whereas before I showed you how to find the version of Windows you're running, whether it's 64-bit, x86 by the way means 32-bit. However, this add-in depends on what version of Office you have, not Windows. Office is the productivity suite that comes with Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. That can be either 32-bit or 64-bit. and your plugin here depends on whatever version you have of that. So most likely you also have a 64-bit version of that, but if you have any trouble, again, I'm going to pick this x64 version, but if you have any trouble downloading and installing it, just come right back here and use the 32-bit version instead. So I'm going to hit next. Here we go, installation instructions. It should be downloading. There it is. I'm going to pause this while it finishes downloading. Alright, not sure why that took so long. Anyway, let's go ahead and open up this download. Okay. I'm going to hit run anyway. That's kind of odd. Okay, we should get this now. Calculating space requirements. Okay. Now it thinks everything's alright. I'm going to click next. I'm going to accept the terms of the agreement. Hit next. Okay, now make sure on this screen we want to tell it to, yes, install. Entire feature will be installed on local hard drive. You don't have to do this next one, but I have Visio and I want to use this one as well. That one's completely optional. But I'm going to hit next now. This does not take up a lot of space. Go ahead and click yes when it asks you if it can run the file. Okay. Wait, let the status finish. Okay, once it's all done, hit finish. Now, so you can see what I'm going to do next. I'm going to move my recording screen over here to where my search box will show. I'm going to click on the Windows button, which brings up this screen, and then start typing the term getting started, and it pulls up this program right here. Open up getting started. Alright, I'm going to move my screen back. You should now see this window right here. We're going to click continue with getting started and next. And then since we've already installed SQL Server 2012, we're going to click use an existing instance. Hit next. Now we want to open up this link right here in the middle of the page. And then once this opens, hit next. Okay, here's what we're doing. We've installed the SQL Server data mining add-on for Excel, but we need to make a connection. Well, first we need to create a database in SQL Server for it to use to run all of the data analyses. And so that's what's happening here. It's suggesting a name localhost. This is the default name for databases installed on a local machine. So leave it as it is and just click next. Leave this page as is, click next. It suggests a name for its new database. That one's perfectly fine, but you're also welcome to change it if you want to. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to click next. Here's my info. You should see something like this with your username listed here. Hit finish. Now it's creating the database for us. Success. Close this out. Okay. Now back here on my getting started screen, I'm going to click finish and close. Now what's checked here is this open an example test table of data. It's opened up over here for me. I'm going to bring it into your view. Whoops. Now in case this didn't open or you didn't have that checked, you can easily get this file open again by I've actually put it on Learning Suite, so you can download a copy of it there. However, let me go back to the Windows search page. I can just type in Excel, there it is, sample Excel data, this one right here. This brings up the exact same file. And you might want to add a bookmark to this in your tile screen, or just save a copy of it somewhere where you'll know where to find it. But here's Excel, and what we have is some example data on this tab, Table Analysis Tools Sample. This is a bunch of bike buyers data, which we'll be using in class multiple times. So each line represents a single customer. And here's a bunch of information we've collected about them. Well, hypothetically collected about them, and whether or not they purchased a bike when they came into our store. So you've got a new tab up here under Table Tools. Now notice if I click off the table, I lose that context-sensitive Table Tools tab. If I click back on the menu, on the table, it pops back up again. In the past, we only got the Design tab when we clicked on the table. But now that we've installed this add-in for SQL Server, we get this Analyze tab, which gives us these 8 tools. And you're going to learn about these tools in class. And in fact, there should be an instructional video on how to use all of them. But before you can use any of them, you have to create the connection to the SQL Server database. So click on No Connection here, and it'll pull up this window. And we want to now create a new connection. And the server name is that server we just created in the previous step, localhost. So currently, if you understand what this means, we can only log into it using Windows authentication, which is why we had to make you install SQL Server Analysis Services on this computer. If it were possible to plug in a specific username and password and log in remotely, we wouldn't have had to make you install it, but this is a feature that will be coming eventually. So click on this catalog name drop down menu, and it's going to then connect to localhost. As soon as you click on it, it connects there, and it finds default database and this DM add-ins database. This is the one we created in the previous step. Select that one and then click test connection. Down here it should succeed just fine, so we're going to click OK, and then we're going to close. And now Excel is now connected to that SQL Server Analysis Services database, which means you are all set up and ready to use some pretty awesome tools. Let's test just one to see if this all works. I want you to click on Analyze Key Influencers. Now, just so you know, for future reference, depending on the speed of your machine and if it's the first time you've opened this up, sometimes when you click one of these tools, it could take up to 5, sometimes even 10 seconds for this window to pop up. So don't worry and don't repeatedly click buttons. If you click a button and it hasn't popped up yet, and then you click another button again, it will actually break the tool. It's still a very sensitive tool because it's in development. It's not a it's kind of shaky at times. So if you click one of these, the window doesn't pop up, and you click another tab, it'll never pop up, which means you simply have to close out of Excel and open it again for this to work. So I'm going to say I want to analyze the key influencers for purchase bike, meaning I want to find out what causes people of the data that I currently have in this table, which of these variables influences whether or not they'll purchase a bike. And then under choose columns to be used for analysis, I don't want it to use the ID column because that has no predictive power. It's just a random number. So I hit OK, and then I hit run. What's happening now is Excel is sending this data to SQL Server to be analyzed over there using the advanced statistical algorithms that we use for data mining. Then it's sending that data analysis back to Excel. So for now, I just want you to close this window out. You'll learn about it later. And what it's given me is a new tab down here called Influencers for Purchase Bike. And it tells me which column and value pairs favor either not purchasing or purchasing a bike. And here's a bar indicating how much. So what this tells me is that the single largest indicator of whether or not they purchase a bike is if they have specifically 2 cars. So this means that your tool is working if you got to this screen. I'm going to delete this tab out of here because we're done for now. And that's it. Have fun in class using this tool. Take this seriously. This is some pretty advanced stuff that no other schools that I know of teach at this level of class, and it's applicable in every single major in the business school. So take advantage of this and learn it well. Good luck.